Good morning, Sean Aquiline. It is time for the Revelstoke Mayor Report with your mayor, Mark McKee. Mark, how many days?
Oh, I don't have the number today.
Such a liar.
Morning, Sean.
Morning, Mark. So, Mark, it's summertime, so things do get a little less in questions because people are off doing their thing or running around chasing a cutout of your very close friend, Brett.
Yeah, I ran into the cutout, talked to him for 15 minutes, didn't answer me. I couldn't figure out what was going on. Then I realized.
He said the same thing about you as mayor. Oh, boom, boom, boom.
Yikes.
Yikes. So, Mark, what do you think that we should be talking about that's relevant?
Well, I think there's a couple of topics that I wouldn't mind updating the community on, and one I don't think we had time last week to talk about it, but the upgrades that for the sewage lagoon I think are starting Monday, Tuesday, and this is a new proprietary piping system that a company in the States invented and has been putting them into sewage lagoons with issues all over the States, and we have that coming here. So anyways, I just want to let the residents in Southside know, and all those people that are affected by the odorous lagoon, that we haven't forgot about it, and we are looking forward to this new system going in.
So what is exactly being implemented?
It's a piping air into, it's a new type of system that I guess the easiest way to describe it is that it churns everything up and moves the water in the lagoon and keeps the temperature even from top to bottom. And that's what causes the problem when you have hot water or cold water on the top and the opposite temperature on the bottom, and the lagoon flips over, and that's what creates that smell. So when it's at a constant temperature from top to bottom and it's moving, the water is churning, it keeps it consistent and is better. It lets the system work the way that it's supposed to work.
It sounds like we've got a broken fan down there.
A broken fan. Well, there's
go to Home Hardware and plug it in, Mark. Saved $40. Sean saves the day.
Nice.
Okay, so that's good news.
And the staff and our consultants working on the development cost charge bylaw, there will be a report coming to council on the July 10th meeting, and there will be options for council to look at. And just want to remind the public that this is the first time that the DCC bylaw has come to a council meeting. It's come to a committee of the whole as a report received by council at the committee of the whole. But now council, it's the first opportunity for council to have a kick at it for looking at the rates and seeing if we can come up with something that balances our needs for upgrading the infrastructure, but as well as looking after the needs of the community to build and develop and grow. So it's coming up with a balance between those two, and I'm hopeful that we're going to come up with something that is somewhat acceptable to the majority of the community.
All right, so fluff aside, on Tuesday we're going to have this meeting, and you're going to have some contractors there, presumably fairly frustrated with this concept. You were here before. They had an increase in DCCs, in 2008?
I can't remember the date, but that's probably
somewhere in that time frame. I would imagine that there was an increase then, and there would have been concerns and questions about that exact same thing. Now, I'm asking you a question that is 10 years old, but do you have any vague recollection as to a percentage increase that happened back then?
Well, I think that it wasn't actually an increase. It was actually introduced, and it was the first time that it was brought in.
There wasn't DCCs before 2008?
I don't think so.
Would outside communities would have had them, meaning Sycamore, Salmon Arm, Golden.
Exactly.
Wow. So this is, relatively new then.
Exactly. And, you could talk about 2008 and what we really should be doing is you should be looking at the DCC bylaw probably every 5 years, maybe even every 3 years, to make sure that they're relevant, that they can meet the needs of the infrastructure that's needed. And in some cases, and I think it was Invermere reviewed their DCC bylaw back in 2010, and they decided that here's a project that we don't think that we need, and they actually took it off. And their DCCs for a single family at that time were $16,000 a house. Ours were 12, and they reduced them down to 9. But so there's those opportunities. Then, but unless you look at them and review them, you can't take advantage of those opportunities. And that's exactly what we're doing now. Is what we're reviewing the DCC bylaw to make sure that it's going to meet the needs of the greater community. And I'm talking about the regular residents that are here in their houses, and the residents that want to come and build, and developers that want to build. So,
but we know that the DCCs are of a benefit to the community. Part and parcel, like Starbucks is a good example. When they moved in, they paid a fee to help towards the roundabout, or those dollars would have gone towards that roundabout because they benefit from it.
That's right. As did Ramada and
I
McDonald's,
Tim
and Tim Hortons. Yeah.
So all these things do have an economic impact in the plus for us, but these proposed dollars are pretty steep. And you have a few buildings here, so now granted they're already built. Now, if you were to want to build something, would you be questioning doing it though?
Well, you have to make a business decision anytime that you're going to invest money and produce something. You got to look at your overall cost. What does it cost to build? What is the cost of land? What are the cost of DCCs and everything else? So, and what's the market, and what's going to happen to this building at the end of the day? Is, if it's a single family and I'm building a house for my family, no different than building a commercial building. You look at the total cost, and you look at it as a whole package. But you look at the cost benefit analysis. Let's take, you mentioned McDonald's paying into the roundabout. Well, I can tell you is that the changes that it made in that ring road for McDonald's and other businesses down there by alleviating the traffic was a huge bonus to them, and a bonus to the community, a bonus to Ministry of Highways. So, there are advantages, and we have to look at where are we going as a community, and what do we need to ensure that our community is growing. So, so when you say proposed DCCs, that's exactly it. We've got a consultant's report. Council hasn't had the opportunity to take a kick at it and decide what's reasonable and what it can move forward with. That's the first opportunity on July 10th, on Tuesday.
And coming up, you can already start to see it, that they're starting to place pegs around the land down on the corner of Townley, that they're doing the roundabout.
Yes.
That's going to be starting in September, if memory serves me correctly.
Yeah, and then we finish the next spring, early summer.
Right, and that one is completely paid for by somebody else.
It was gas tax grant, so $5 million, and there's going to be upgrades to water, sewer, storm drain, and there's going to be better pedestrian cycling. So going to be a great project, but that's not a DCC project, nor is it a local taxpayer funded
Well, that's
project.
what I thought was good to remind everyone, that when we start seeing it going, how much is this costing us? Well, it's not. We got a grant. And that's why it happens so fast. Because that was approved a while ago, but then sort of shelved for when that time came. It just came faster than you thought. And
that's that's best practices, to have projects ready. And so one of the processes that we're going through is called a liquid waste management plan, where you decide what is the best project for the sewage treatment, whether it's a mechanical plant, a sewage lagoon, different location. All those options are going to be looked at, and then it'll be decided on. Then there's going to be a shelf-ready project.
This sounds like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
It's very similar, very similar. But then when you have this liquid waste management plan sitting on a shelf, there will be opportunities to apply for infrastructure grants. And what we're hoping is that a $30 million plant may only cost us $5 million or $10 million or whatever that grant of that time. But you can't apply for a grant unless you have a shelf ready plan that's all ready to go.
That looks like that'll be the next mayor and council that would be working on that one predominantly, I would imagine.
Well, that's probably when the plan will be finished, because I'm not sure what stage it's in right now. It's been approved to be done. It's just in process.
Okay. Is there anything else that you think that we should touch base on?
I think we got enough for today.
That's a lot of stuff to talk about.
Okay.
All right, Mark. Well, thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Sean. Have a good weekend.